How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sundays, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, and Sundays with Andrew Zarian. It's Thursday on this show. Never a dull moment. You know what that means? We got a lot to talk about here today. Yes, Mushroom Man 674. We got a lot to talk about here today. Lance Storm will be joining us. I believe tomorrow's show is going to be a replay. I'm unavailable tomorrow. But we'll have a fun Thursday here, won't we? We got a lot to get into today. Last night was AEW Dynamite. We can talk about that. And we can talk about Daisuke Sakimoto, who was injured, but appears to hopefully be all right, although it was a scary-looking injury at the time. We've got the Best of the Super Juniors finals. We have got an update on Jim Ross, from Jim Ross, actually. We have got Saturday night's main event numbers. I guess we can talk a little bit about Raw ratings on Netflix. I will, oh my God. And, yeah. SmackDown. We got to talk about SmackDown, don't we? Yes, we do. So a lot to get into today. And it's going to be fun. If you would like to text us here today, 425-780-7566. That is 425-780-7566. F4W online@gmail.com or Bryan at WrestlingObserver.com is the email address. I'm F4W online, Threads, Instagram, and Cameo. Yes, I do cameos. Personalized video messages for you, your loved ones, your hated enemies. They are merely $10. F4W online on Cameo. Get one today. And at Bryan Alvarez X and Blue Sky. Back in a moment of Observer Live. Yes, we are here on the show. Bryan Alvarez here, Lance Storm. Should start off by saying that everything's all right. Part 2 of Observer Radio is going to be taking place at 4 Pacific, 7 Eastern today is the plan. You know how plans go, everybody. But long story, but it'll be taking place this afternoon. So we got that. And yes, we need to talk about SmackDown. Now, to be fair, I'm trying to find out what's going on. Been doing a lot of praying. So, WrestleVotes reported Thursday that, quote, for the foreseeable future, SmackDown will remain 3 hours as USA is satisfied with a performance in the third hour. Two sides reportedly had agreed to a final 3-hour runtime on Friday, May 30th, but plans changed. WrestleVotes noted it's a fluid discussion about the length of the show, and a return to 2 hours could take place this fall. Triple H, as early as May, had stated the 3-hour format was only temporary. He had appeared in January in the Pat McAfee show, said the same thing. So, I don't know, man.
Plans change, everybody.
Originally, SmackDown was going to be 3 hours till June. And then it was like pushed a little further. And it was like 2 days ago, I was told the July 4th SmackDown, which I believe is going to be taped so everybody can do the 4th of July, was scheduled to be a 2-hour show. And then today we got this news. So I was like, clearly they need to be being paid more, right? Are we making a deal where USA is paying them more money? They better not be doing this out of the goodness of their hearts. So, like, we're all suffering and they're doing it for free. Like, hey, business is business, whatever. You get paid an extra, 7 figures every year, 8 figures to do an extra hour. Okay, whatever. But, I mean, seems like that's not the deal they signed because it's temporary. So, I'm trying to find out what's going on. But that news sucks. It sucks. It's 3-hour SmackDown. It's too long. Just sucks. So that's my speech. What else do you want me to say?
Because at least the rest of us can choose to watch or not. You have to watch all this.
Yeah. Well, it's not even that. It's like everyone always, looks at it from my perspective, but I'm often looking at it from you guys' perspective. Like 3 hours is too long for SmackDown. I mean, it just is. I mean, the number of people that actually watch all 3 hours of SmackDown, there really aren't that many people that do it. Most people pick and choose. And, I think most people would prefer not to have to pick and choose how much of SmackDown they want to watch. I mean, I don't know how it was in the 90s, but, when Raw was an hour, and Main Event was an hour, and Superstars was an hour, my guess is most people watch the entire show. Everybody has vivid memories of these shows in the 80s. When does our memory start to, fade? It's not because I'm 50 and, I don't remember it. When does everybody's memory of wrestling start to fade? It starts to fade around 97, 98 when, first Raw went to 2 hours, then Nitro went to 2 hours, then Nitro went to 3 hours, then Raw added SmackDown, then WCW added Thunder, and before you know it, there's 80 hours of wrestling, and yeah, everything's a blur from that point forward. So, hey, if you're happy with that, I mean, it's all about money, whatever, who cares? They're making their money. But, for fans, I mean, it's not ideal to have 3 hours of SmackDown on Friday, and, if you're a wrestling fan, 2.5 hours of Raw on Monday, and Collision, and
Impact.
Dynamite, and Impact, and PLEs every weekend, and, I mean, golly, WWE now running 2 shows on a Saturday. I was like, whatever. It'll come up and bite them eventually, because the same thing happened when they moved Raw to 3 hours. When they moved Raw to 3 hours, Everybody hated it, we complained about it. But the fact is, for like a year, everything was fine. It didn't affect them for like a year, 18 months. But after about 18 months, that's when it was just too much for too long. And they are very much riding high now. And so, hey, from a business perspective, you can't blame them. But it will affect them at some point. And once it does, it's like, these people aren't good with changing. They're going to ride that horse into the ground, like we always do.
And I think it becomes a blur, not just because there's so much to watch, but when there's that much product, things do get repetitive and things don't stand out as much because there's more title changes, more DQ finishes, more matches, more programs, more turns, more angles. And it just gets to be a lot.
Now, Saturday night's main event did quite well. A .54 and 1.97, basically 2 million viewers, which is the highest viewership for an NBC show yet. The first show did 1.6 million. The second show did 1.5 million. And this hit 2. So, John Cena was on the show, and, they had a lot of big matches scheduled. So it did very, very well. And, we'll see how the next one does, if it has John Cena or not. And, of course, there were people watching on Peacock as well. And, my estimate based on previous shows is that, about 30% are watching on streaming. So if you're looking at 2 million viewers on television, this show probably did 2.6 million viewers if you add in Peacock. So very good numbers. And unfortunately, it wasn't much of a show. So there's that.
You got Jesse Ventura.
Yeah. But, the other thing is, if you did not hear Observer Radio last night, I did ask Dave about Brandon Thurston's report that his calculations have Raw on Netflix doing basically roughly what it was doing last year at this time. And, Dave's calculations have it doing below 1 million viewers in the U.S. And I can't fathom how Raw could be doing under 1 million. Especially because SmackDown's regularly doing like 1.5 million. And, here's the thing. If Raw is doing under 1 million viewers in the U.S., okay, like that means that it's going neck and neck with Dynamite and NXT. That's what we're talking about here. It's inconceivable to me. And I asked him about this, and I'm even more confused now. It didn't clear one thing up for me, but he's got his formula, and he admits it doesn't make sense that the show is doing under 1 million viewers. So I think the reality here's the thing too, also, that nobody brings up. Okay, so how the story is that Max can't even figure out how many people are streaming. You know what I'm saying? But Netflix somehow has exact calculations. I just think we should throw out. I mean, everyone's willing to throw out those Max numbers. I mean, I don't know why we're bothering to try and figure out how many people are watching Raw. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, they're doing gigantic business. They're selling out all their shows. There's no indication that 900,000 people are all that's watching Raw on Netflix every week in the U.S. It does not make any sense. I mean, clearly things are going quite well. And honestly, what's funny is they're going well for everybody. I mean, things have picked up for AEW. Things are going great for WWE. Things have picked up for Impact. I mean, NXT. I mean, things have picked up everywhere. So that's good at least. Right?
That's great. I know TNA, our houses have been really, really strong of late. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's almost like it didn't hurt when Randy Orton beat Joe Hendry real quick at WrestleMania. It's almost like it may have helped.
It's almost like that. The houses went up and Joe stayed over. Go figure.
All right. We're going to head to a break, everybody. When we come back, we got more news to get into here today. We got the Dynamite report later. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Back here on the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Hey, we got good news. Jim Ross's surgery went well. He announced, "We begin to rehabilitate." He gave an update via former AW employee Rafael Morphy. Everything went well, and he's going to be talking to his doctor. He's going to be in the hospital for a few more days and then see what he's allowed to do and how much he's allowed to do. So best wishes to him. He's had a lot of problems. A lot of problems in the last few years.
Glad it went well. All the best to JR.
We got some updates from Japan. Daisuke Sekimoto was in a six-man, I guess it was, Korakuen Hall for Big Japan Pro Wrestling yesterday. And he was given a swinging DDT, went down, they stopped the match, they stretchered him out. Rushed to the hospital, but they said he was conscious and able to move his limbs. He was experiencing numbness in his arms and neck, but it is believed to be temporary. Scans showed no abnormalities, no suspicion of a spinal cord injury, so that's good. These things are always scary.
Yep.
And that does bring us to, we got to talk about old Adam Cole. So, like, I always watch a show on delay.
So your phone blew up.
I'm one of the 90%. And yes, all of a sudden, like, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? That's never good. When my phone all of a sudden goes, never good. So it's all about Adam Cole. Is Adam Cole all right? Oh my God, Adam Cole. What happened to Adam Cole? I was like, that doesn't sound good. So I went on Twitter, search Adam Cole, latest, and of course the video comes up immediately. Kyle Fletcher takes this guy, power bombs like the back of his freaking head right into the apron. The most horrific noise. And, you hear Excalibur. He has an aneurysm in the booth. Oh, my God. Absolutely freaks out. And I was like, oh, my God. Like, first off, is he even alive? Number one. Number two, like, I hope they stop the match. So anyway, like, I start texting, is Adam Cole all right? Is Adam Cole all right? Is Adam Cole all right? And like, I get yes, yes, yes. Like, everyone's saying he's fine. And I'm like, how? Okay? How? So I started asking, like, how? And in the meantime, I'm also searching Twitter. Like, there's got to be, like, other angles of this or something. And so somebody put up a super slow-mo, okay?
Yes, thank God.
They put up a super slow-mo, and in this super slow motion, his head doesn't hit the apron. And so I watched it, and then I watched the normal speed, and then I watched the slow motion, and I watched the normal speed, and it's like, how are these the same thing? Because in normal speed, it's like you hear the thwack, and you see, and it's like it's horrible. But then you watch the slow motion, and his head doesn't hit. So I was just like, I was baffled. So then, people started getting back to me, and what happened was, the slow motion obviously is correct. His head never hit the apron. But what did happen was his elbow hit the apron. Yeah, his right arm. So when you watch it in normal speed with sound, it's an illusion. That's actually his arm and elbow hitting the apron. So, like, the good news is his head is fine. The bad news is I heard his elbow wasn't feeling so great. But, I mean, there's a bigger issue here that we cannot ignore. And that is, what in God's name was Kyle Fletcher thinking? Okay? The reason his head didn't hit is because Kyle was way too far away from the ring apron. Clearly what he wasn't trying to powerbomb his elbow in the apron. He wasn't trying to powerbomb him on the ground. He was trying to give him an apron powerbomb, but he was like a mile away. And in hindsight, thank God he wasn't an inch closer or 4 inches closer, because Adam Cole would be dead if he would have been like 4 inches closer. He needed to be like 1.5 feet closer, but like he wasn't. And I mean, I could tell you today, I mean, I'm sure I'll hear about this all afternoon, but there were a lot of people furious at Kyle Fletcher because, like, at the end of the day, whatever you want to do is whatever you guys agree to do and everything like that. But, like, Adam Cole has had a history of head injuries. He's had concussions. He's had concussions and head injuries we know about, and he's had concussions and head injuries that we don't know about. Well, I shouldn't say, well, I mean,
everyone
it hasn't been public, okay? But there have been other times where, like, Adam Cole hasn't been on television, and it's because he had a head injury and, like, just it never came out. So, like, you have to be careful, not just with Adam Cole, but with, like, anybody. With anybody's head, you have to be careful. And there were a lot of people very unhappy with Kyle Fletcher because, like, what was this dude thinking? I mean, what was he thinking? I don't have an answer. It was wild. So
yeah, I don't know what Adam Cole was thinking, even agreeing to it. I'm not a fan of the apron power bomb. I'm even less a fan of it the way they did it, which was pretty much perpendicular to the apron. There's a lot of guys that'll do it more at about a 45, so you have more space on the apron, because if you get too close, the dude hits the back of his head on the bottom rope, which will whiplash and concuss him. And then if you're too far away, so doing it perpendicular to the apron, there's not a lot of adjustment. You get too close, he whacks his head on the bottom rope. Too far back, he's dead. And way far back, thankfully, he only ruins his elbow. But Jesus, that's dangerous. We got to be more careful.
Yeah, the apron, I mean, there's so many things I could say here. I mean, first off, I mean, whoever was the first person to start pushing that the apron was the hardest part of the ring, I mean, God, if I had a time machine, dude, the fact of the matter is the apron is the hardest part of the ring, okay? But the fans don't need to know that, okay? To the fans, the middle of the ring should be just as hard as anywhere else, okay? So now what you've done is you've stated, well, the apron is the hardest part of the ring. Well, now these maniacs, well, you know, let's do spots on the apron because the fans know it's the hardest part of the ring. Now you're doing crazy stuff on the apron. And, like, it's one thing if you're going to do, like, a power bomb on the apron, but like you said, you're going at an angle, and so you lift the guy up, and really he only falls a very short, you know, he's not falling all the way to the ground or whatever. He's falling, like, you know, a foot onto the apron, and you put him at an angle, you drop him flat. Like, he's not going to get not a lot of give there, but it's not too bad. But, like, now we're doing hard power bomb into the edge of the apron, okay? You think the you know, that edge like this, there's metal in there, like you got to hold the ring together. I mean, dude, what are we doing? I mean, God, the spots on the apron, and it's like you never had to tell fans that was the hardest. By the way, the post is the hardest part of the ring, but you never had to tell fans that it hurts worse to land on the apron than in the middle. Now we've got this expectation. It's just like we basically told fans now, hey, it's worse when you get hit, when you land on a table that doesn't break. Well, now we've got these reinforced tables, and now these poor wrestlers, this is the stupidest one of 2025. Both places have got reinforced tables. So now the wrestlers are taking a bump on a table, and it hurts more because the table doesn't give. You have all these fans, and all they want is broken tables. So now you've taken that away from them by giving them a table that doesn't break. It's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing, Lance?
Yeah, I don't understand the show the fans what will really hurt, and we will do that in this, and I'm doing air quotes here, fake sport where we're not supposed to hurt anybody. Now, there are at least those that are really smart that'll do the belly to back suplex on the apron where the dude literally falls like 6 inches and the crowd reacts like, oh my God, an apron bump. I'm like, okay, at least they're being smart about it. But yeah, let's stop doing stuff that legitimately hurts a lot because it adds up and we all need to be safer. And that's every company. I'm not picking on AEW. Every company, including TNA, can always be safer and more careful.
It's like I was complaining. I wasn't even really complaining, but I ridicule Okada's falling elbow. And the blowback is always, all you talk about is that people need to be safe. Why do you have to ridicule a guy for doing a falling elbow? Maybe he's all banged up. And it's like, listen, if the guy's too banged up to do a jumping elbow drop, why not just don't do it? Why? And Lance, you know this as well as anybody, okay? Can I say the A word, Dom? Is that all right?
And?
As long as I think as long as you don't put the second half of it to make it a longer word.
Okay.
Fine.
All right. So what he's doing is he's half-assing his elbow drop, okay? And every wrestler alive will tell you that the easiest way to get hurt is to try not to get hurt by half-assing it, okay? If the flying elbow is, it hurts too much to jump or whatever, don't half-ass it. Just stop doing it. And then people are like, oh, well, blah, 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 blah. Bro, how many times have you seen Ricochet do that 630? 3 or 4 times since he's been in AEW. He doesn't do it every single match. And he's had so many great matches with no 630 in it. How many times have you seen Pac do the Black Arrow of late? He does it very sparingly. And he's had all sorts of great matches that had no Black Arrow in it, okay? You can have a great match without doing a half-ass version of a high spot in that particular match. Back in a moment, Observer Live. We did, in fact, by popular demand, watch Ready to Rumble.
The champion is some fat loser.
Yeah, he's a completely talentless, no athletic ability, can't wrestle, broke bum that walked out on his wife and kid.
But he was
he's
over.
The world champion.
He
and
was.
In the movie, the
Well, yeah, but
storyline
that's a
is-
microcosm of wrestling, sadly.
Yes.
He feels so bad about drinking this entire slushy that cost $1.26, and he sticks his finger in his asshole and walks up to the clerk.
Lance is dying. How could the movie be so bad?
I'm not going to fault the man for that, of all the things in the movie.
I thought for
okay?
sure you were going to say you'd done this before.
There's a reason I'm not going to fault the man for that.
I just think with all the porta potties and farting in this, that I think Vince McMahon was a secret producer on this film. Had to have been.
So then we get the Shermanator. He's played a WCW arcade game. He uses some internet sleuthing to find the personal information of Jimmy King.
He's searching the internet. Gonna find out anything on here. This movie was so antiquated. Every Nitro Girl is in a Nitro Girl outfit, except for this girl. They had her
want
dance in
to
something
stand
totally
out,
different.
Brian, like the captain.
So we're so stupid. I got it.
Captain
Yes,
Stabbin.
if you're watching this film, you're that stupid. I'm sorry.
But I was also insulted by the fact they hired Michael Buffer to announce the Royal Bash, the fake-ass Royal Bash.
$24 million budget.
Wow.
And probably 500,000 of that went to Michael Buffer. It made 12. You know, we
He
should mention
unveils-
this cage match is the triple-decker Cage of Doom. Everybody buried it. It was horrible. Everybody hated it. And so they decided to make a movie. And what is the final battle? It's another goddamn triple-decker cage match. This would be like in 2010 if like TNA made a movie and the final match was a reverse battle royal.
They throw powder in someone's face, DDP's, I think, or somebody's, and the dude just looks and goes, "It doesn't work." It's like, of course, because wrestling's fake and stupid.
Should we just end it there? What a soundbite. There has never been a movie I have watched in my entire life which has made me hate myself more.
Wow.
I'm ashamed that I'm even in the place at 41 years old where I would end up reviewing this movie for money. I would have thought I would have made it out of here by now. You know what I mean? I'm done.
Well, everyone, hopefully we can do this again someday. Instead of suffering through the YouTube chat, click like and subscribe. Alrighty. Back here on the show. Bryan Alvarez, Lance Storm. Did you watch any of Dynamite or no?
I do not get TSN.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Well, it was a, how can I say this? It had its ups and downs. Put it that way. Kind of like an NXT show, really.
Sounds like most wrestling shows, to be honest.
Well, I thought it had a great opening segment. It had a great final segment. It had a couple of great matches, and then it had some stuff that was like, what? So it opened up with Tony Schiavone interviewing Hangman, and he promised. And in the old days, everybody, and Tony Khan, and he's an old school fan. The old days of that babyface promised that he was winning the world title. Then he was winning that world title. So we'll see. He promised to win the title. Swerve came out, showed video of the Young Bucks when they said that they cost Swerve the title because of Hangman. And he said, Hangman, is that true? And Hangman said, dude, if I was going to screw you, I'd have done it to your face. I've done it before. And Swerve's response is, well, that sounds good, but you're still full of it. So Ospreay comes out, and Ospreay gives a big speech to these two guys, and he just basically says, listen, we have a chance here, okay? Swerve, I love you. I thought it was me. It's not me. It's not you. It's him. And he needs all of our support. And Swerve just basically said, that guy ain't ever getting my support, and he walks out, gets booed. And then Hangman tells Ospreay, it ain't happening. We're never working together. He walks out, and poor Ospreay is all frustrated in the ring. So I like it because, everybody's expecting that Hangman, actually not everybody. I mean, they've done a good enough job now that a lot of people just figure Moxley's just going to go on a tear forever. But I think everybody figures that Hangman's winning the title at All In. And so they've added a lot here to make you think, well, maybe it's not going to happen. We had an Anarchy in the Arena recap, which was good. Then we had Mark Briscoe, Willow Nightingale, and Speedball versus Gabe Kidd, Moxley, and Marina. Excellent TV match. I loved this match. And this John Moxley, man, he must love him some Speedball Bailey because, he sold and sold and sold and sold and sold and sold and sold for this guy. And finally, at the end, they do all their big spots, and then the Briscoe gets cut off. Moxley puts him in the choke. All the babyface try to save. They get thwarted. Briscoe goes out. Heavy heat win for John Moxley heading into All In. We had a quick Hurt Syndicate promo. We had a Ricochet promo. Ricochet said that he needs his own crew, he said. And keep in mind, there is a group called Crew, but he's going to get his own crew and then take over the world.
Is he going to revive the Baldies from ECW?
It's possible. Golly, how many of them are available? Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford versus Harley Cameron and Anna Jay. So this was a very hit and miss. Some of this stuff was good. Some of this stuff was not good at all. And actually, I mean, the person who had a lot of problems in this match was Penelope Ford. And she's another one where, 5 years ago, it was like, man, she's going to be real good in 5 years. And really, she's exactly where she was 5 years ago. It's just nobody is getting enough reps. And, there were a lot of spots that got botched. And then finally, they went for the Doomsday Device on Harley. And it looked like Penelope completely missed the clothesline, but that was still the finish, and Megan pinned her. And this was kind of a mess. But my favorite part of the match actually was they're killing each other with spots and gimmicks. It's a hardcore match. And by the way, I mean, I must have missed something somewhere. But why in God's name did this match take place, and why was it a hardcore match? No idea whatsoever. But anyway, they're doing this hardcore match, and they're hitting each other with chairs and cans. It's exactly like WWE. We want tables! And Taz on commentary he says exactly what we say every week. He goes, they're killing each other with trash cans and you guys want tables? Yes, they did. We had the Ops against the Frat House. Yeah. I need to see the quarter hour for this one because the Frat House comes out. I don't think they've ever been on this show ever. And Jacked Jameson starts doing a long promo. And he's talking. And he's talking. And he's talking. And they conclude with, we are going to win the trios titles tonight. And I said, there's no way this is a trios title match. There's no way. And so, I write my notes for the show, and I wrote, Ops killed him quick. Then I had to delete. I mean, dude, it's not like it went on forever, but it's like they had to kill this frat house guy. Then they had to kill this frat house guy. Then they had to kill this frat house guy. Then frat house guys not in the match hit the ring to get killed. And then Two Dimes, remember Stacks and Two Dimes from NXT? Well, Two Dimes ended up in AEW. We never saw him again after the first week. Guess he's been in Ring of Honor or whatever. So he gets in the ring. He botches, I think, every spot he tried. And then he was killed. So, Also not good.
So they didn't win the titles.
No. Then Jamie Hayter comes out for a promo, but the lights go out, and Thekla debuts. She was just on the show. She's great. She's a great worker, great personality. You know, they've been building this up with a little spider on the screen for weeks. Thekla shows up. They miss her debut. They're filming the screen where the video's going on. All of a sudden, they cut to the ring, and she's in the ring, and Jamie's dead. They didn't even show her lay her out. And then Excalibur's given about 15 seconds to do the whole history of Thekla. And then it was like old school today. To the back! And it was just gone. Like, the whole debut was like an afterthought. It was just like, forgot we got to get it on the show. Hurry, rush him out there. Just boom, in and out.
Didn't she say on the show her name is Tekla?
Tekla, yeah. I actually got it right on the show. I screwed it up here. But anyway, yeah, this was a tragedy. And then it was like they rushed that off TV so we could see a Mystico video package. And like, I'm all for video packages and everything like that, but I think the debut of Tekla is more important than a Mystico video package. But that's what they did. And then we had another one. Adam Cole and Kyle Fletcher. So we talked about the near-death experience. That was bad enough. But this was another one. Yesterday, I did the rundown for what was on Dynamite. No mention of this match. I don't even know if they even announced it in advance. Maybe they did like late in the afternoon. But as a viewer, I'm like, what? Adam Cole and Kyle Fletcher for the TNT title is on this show tonight? No clue. Clueless. And, they had Fletcher pin Kyle at Double or Nothing. I figured this was going to lead to a title match, but, like, it's already happening. So the reason is, they went to a DQ. It was a total WWE DQ. It was just Cole hit the sunrise, and Josh Alexander just ran in for the DQ. That was it. Ran in, and tons of boos for the finish. Brody King ran down to make the save. And it's like, we just moved on. Well, too bad, DQ. It's time for Josh Alexander and Brody King. This was where the show turned around because they had a very good match. The only problem is we had more inadvertent blood as Josh Alexander did a double. He trapped both of his arms and did a German. And he dropped Brody King right on his own head. And just freaking bleeding everywhere. And then Brody hit the Gonzo bomb and pinned him. And very good match. Very good match, and a lot of Brody chances he was leaving, so maybe they'll do something with Brody now. I had a match with Jack Evans in, the year 2000, back when he was Trelane. And I always loved wrestling him because he took great bumps, and I could just ragdoll him everywhere. I was, bigger then. That was when I was about 190. And I'd suplex this dude all over, and I exploders and Germans, and I had the time of my life. And one day I decided, you know what? I'm going to do a dragon suplex with a bridge. And it might even air, because that match is one of the things we play during the commercial breaks here. It might actually be on there. But, man, dude, I hit a dragon suplex with a bridge, and, it looked beautiful. Except I dropped him right on my own face, nearly broke my nose, almost killed myself, and I never did a dragon suplex with a bridge again. But I felt for Josh Alexander here because I've done that same thing, and it sucked. Then we had Mercedes and Tony doing a face-to-face, and it's very good. It came across as two really, the two biggest women stars in the entire promotion. They're going to be facing off for Tony's title at the biggest show of the year in Texas. I can't recap everything they said because Tony definitely said some words that Dom is not going to let me say.
Yeah, you've already pushed the envelope. Take it easy.
I overshot my quota. But anyway, Mercedes offered a handshake. Tony gave it to her. They went nose to nose. Tony sniffed her, kissed her hand. So Mercedes tried to attack her and hit her finish. Tony avoided it, went for her finish. Mercedes avoided that and bailed. And, everything from the Brody King match on was great. And everything up until, I guess really that women's hardcore match was great. And the women's hardcore match through the Adam Cole match, I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan of that stuff. But hit and miss show, but overall I had a good opening. It was like a compliment sandwich. A great open, a great close, and then we got some, we got some not so great stuff in the middle. But that was a Dynamite show. And they taped Collision. For some reason I thought Collision was going to air tonight. But it's not. It's going to be Saturday, which
Good.
means I can watch TNA tonight.
Even better.
Yeah, which I'm trying to do every week. Vinny really did not like that Under Siege. And to be fair, I didn't see it.
He actually thought it was much like you just reviewed Dynamite. He thought the first couple matches were good, the last couple matches were good, and he didn't care for the 2 or 3 in the middle.
Yeah, I only saw the main event because there was so much stuff going on this weekend, but I thought it was a perfectly good main event with the right finish. And, I thought it was fine. And there was also a TV that he really hated. And maybe it's just, what's the word?
He's not a fan of the Robert Stone program.
Which is weird because Robert Stone is miles better on TNA than he is in NXT. Because NXT, they don't have to do anything. He gets like 3 lines, and it's always something silly. And he's actually getting to be like a good character on TNA. And he wasn't a big fan of that Indy Hartwell match. Maybe it's just like, it's new to me, so like everything's cool for the time being, and then I'll turn on it later. But, Indy, she was miles better in that TNA match than 99% of the stuff that she did in NXT and the main roster. I mean,
I think the issue is our bar was getting really, really high. We were doing fantastic, awesome shows. So Vinny really raised his expectations. So unless it's a Grand Slam home run, I think he's disappointed.
Back in a moment, Observer Live. Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here. Wrestling Observer Live. Landstorm joining us. And I had a source alert me as to why Vinny really had a problem with Under Siege. And that is there was no Erica Aleniak on it.
Wow, there's an old reference.
Yeah.
No Steven Seagal either.
I think he was all right with that one. Anyway, let's talk about Impact tonight. What's coming up?
Yeah, we're going to hear from our new world champion, Trick Williams. We mentioned Santino. He and his daughter, Ariana Grace, are going to be a tag team for the first ever father-daughter tag team match on the show. And Steve Macklin is defending
Like the
his
first ever in history or just in TNA? That can't be
just in TNA.
Yes.
Maybe there's one elsewhere. I don't know. And Steve Macklin is defending the international title against Matt Cardona.
My Lord, what a lineup for tonight. And we can see that where? Access Television or TNA Plus?
Yeah, or if you're in Canada, Sportsnet 360.
Sportsnet 360. All right. Well, as noted, if you're a subscriber, Dave and I will be back at about 4 Pacific, 7 Eastern today with another Wrestling Observer Radio. And Vinny and I will be up tonight at 8 Pacific, 11 Eastern with a Bryan and Vinny show. Also talking Dynamite and NXT. I gave him the option of not doing the show and Vinny and I would review it, but he's a maniac. So we're doing it tonight. So I hope you like Dynamite and NXT reviews because we got a lot coming for you. That's it, everybody. We got to wrap it up. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you again after a while.